All right. So today is April 28th, 2026, Tuesday, 6 o'clock. Market just opened. So I just go over what happened today, and if I took any trades or not. So yesterday, what I said was, there's a current demand over here, and I kind of expected trend and maybe push down here, and if it doesn't close below it, we are looking for longs. So in the pre-market at 7 o'clock, we saw that the full closure be below it, and that told me that taking this short trigger and to aim for the pre-market low 830, right, was the move. Uh, but due to the conditions, I didn't take that trade. I kind of wanted to short around these levels. So the previous week close and the previous day close. That's what I wanted. So I didn't take the trade. Um, and I saw that we couldn't get to the target, ATR target, but finding the base around 1752. Thought about taking the long, but the risk to ratio, the reward ratio was not that good, so I didn't even take it. So going in tomorrow, what I'm looking for is, basically retest of this area or even taking out this high, this intermediate high, and then maybe getting into short position. But that really depends on how fast the price is coming in. Um, I think it's really hard to tell because I think we might have to look at dollar because right now everything is just kind of stuck, right? So if you look at the day chart, dollar is quickly heading towards the previous talk about the support. So the play that I talked in my first video might actually happen at this rate. At that point, if the dollars are gonna keep going at the 91.5 level, then we kind of can expect uh the SPY to actually pick up the buyers and rally up. Because also another thing to note is, we had this whole week of balance, right? And we saw the look below and fail. So that gave the cue to for buyers to, buy up and go up. Now, one way to look at it is that we see a failed breakout, and maybe we are seeing the manipulation or the divergence basically, right? We see a divergence and then we might see another peak and then we might see a down. But also another thing to keep in mind is that there's a good chance that the 50% of this balance will be tested and will continue the rally up. So it's really hard to go in with a strong conviction for the selling right now when there's not a clear sign. Even though we are seeing a structure, like microstructure change, but I mean even right now, if you look at 4 hour time frame, this entire demand is being respected, right? So going back, if this was the 50% and you're looking at this with precise with the taking out this low over here, you know it is not out of ordinary that this demand. So basically we can see a dip into this and then see a retest of that. There'll be a better for me, I would say a long, if there's no full closure. So that's something that I'll be looking at today going into tomorrow. It's because the buyers also that this is a very weak channel. Um, I'm still short biased in a sense, like short term, but I'm very careful because as I said, if the dollar keep going down, there's a high chance that the ES will rally, especially with right now gold catching bid at around 4,600. That's a good sign that gold might rally up. But what I'm thinking right now, if you look at the 4 hour time frame, right? So initially what I wanted was a closer below this. Now we got it. So it is okay for gold to find intermediate bottom over here, then you know what we are looking at is a retest of this area and potentially tapping into this overhead supply and then maybe retesting this low and breaking this trend line liquidity over here, and obviously going for the lows over here and here. I'm still very short biased on gold, even though you know as mentioned before that you know fundamentally the institutions are buying, but I don't buy into that. So we play the chart. Initially I wanted, you know, around this area to short, to be honest, five this area, but we're not even seeing that. The sellers are pretty strong right now. So, but also at the counter, you know, thought process, they find a you know base over here. This area is not gonna hold that well. You know, this they're gonna target all the way up and potentially here. So that's what I'm waiting for gold. I'm not really interested. So as I said previous day, if you see this impulsive move down, you know, we can chase it, but I can chase it, but it is very dangerous. I'd rather wait. You know, I'm okay with letting this go. It doesn't matter. CL. I think the target is to fill this area. This is overhead supply right now, right? So this overhead supply probably, you know, at least fill this area. Now to CL going up above and beyond, I don't know. But I think this would be a very good point of interest right now, where the market is really trying to retest this area before we seeing a major auction between you know the buyers and sellers and decide if we want to go higher or not. But right now, CL, I'm really tempted. I'm really too tempted even like try this area. I think, or even no, actually no. The waiting might be better. So CL, I want to chase CL, but I'm okay with waiting. I'm not going to chase anything. So let's look at NQ. Yeah, so I mean, if NQ this area holds overnight, you know, the clear target will be these two lines, and we have a FOMC coming up, so you know, preferably what I like to see if you're going downside is that you know from Globex to morning session we hit here, and then around lunchtime we see a downward trend. So that's when that'll be pretty nice to get in around here and try to short all the way down. Yeah, I mean it's hard to tell. We're still bullish in a sense, but they literally fill the entire buyer side buyer side imbalance. The target is lower. Target is definitely lower. We do have imbalance over here, you know, which coincide with the previous high level, you know, the resistance over here. So previous high resistance over here too. You can see that that has a clear level. We did bounce off this. So yeah, I think if there's gonna be short downside for the NQ, you know, watch out for getting into this premium side and then trying to short this way. Let's see 4 hour what this is. Is it 1 hour? Oh yeah, 1 hour. We do have an untested balance over here. Yeah, which coincides that. Yeah, it's not too crazy, you know. Like, it really coincides with the level that I'm trying to short on ES right now. So there's a previous day and the previous weekly close. That's what I'm trying to, you know, if I wanted to short, that's what I want to short right now. I don't think there is some chance that it might target the upper, you know, the weekly or the daily and then go down. But to me, ES and AQ already targeted that, and we are seeing this, right? So, yeah. So yes, yeah, I'm definitely this area just looks pretty good. Sure, have a stop here. If I get stopped out and then see downturn, that's too bad. But uh, yeah, I'm tempted. We'll see. I be really, eyeing this area. I don't think this is a already tested area in a sense that this entire demand has been the support or supply has been tested. So I'm looking at the next level. Um, yeah, which coincide with the bullet trigger. So I mean, even if this area looks good, is at that point it's kind of overextended, then the bulls kind of lose exhaustion. So I'll be watching that. If we do see exhaustion here, if I don't get in around here because it happens at night while I'm sleeping, um, it is whatever. I try to catch it by have try probably like this kind of way retest and then go down, but. Yeah, I think this is worth taking the risk because since we saw some move, even though there's some chance that the demand is holding, but to me this is structural shift. So it's worth taking a short over here, get stopped out, but I think this has potential to go lower, right? That's what we want. We want to break this balance and then want test at least retest the other end of the balance. Ultimately, the target should be as you saw NQ, this the first line of defense, like this end, right? That's the first line of defense, but ultimately we really want to go to like 50%, which is should be around here now. If it goes lower, it goes lower, but I think that's the trade I really want to catch. Either here or here. So right now, yeah, when there is some signs of sellers coming in, that's when you kind of wanna at least take a risk and go in because yeah, it's just like a position basing, so size down, have some stop that's available that above this level, above the call level right here, right? So if I get in here, that's 50 points. It's not too bad because like with CFD I can size down and let that be like $100 or $200 um you know uh risk for each position and going like with 4 or 5 positions. It's not a bad idea. Hmm. We'll see. Anyway, that's my thought process. Um, thank you.